What's up, beautiful people? I hope you're all doing very well and very nice. Today basically this is not a full video, but of course it's going to be a very fast overview onto how I edited my last sequence and my last video to Fahidi historical district. And without wasting any time, let's dive into Premiere Pro and see how the timeline looked like. If you never watched the Fahidi historical district video, just click on the card above there and it will take you right to the video. That is it. This is my intro. So what I did first is that I applied on this adjustment layer. Remember, this is not going to be a very in-depth, I'm not going to be showing each and every small thing that I did, but of course it's going to be like a general overview onto the basic principles that I applied to make that video possible, to make it possible. So what I did first was that I applied on this adjustment layer. As you can see it on, I just came to my media panel, I went to new item and then created a new adjustment layer that was matching my sequence, which is 1920 by 1080p at 30 frames per second. So upon getting that adjustment layer, what I did next was that I came to the adjustment layer and then dropped it onto this layer over here. After dropping it onto that layer over here, what I applied first to the adjustment layer was the crop effect. Was this crop effect? I came to the effects control tab, then I searched the crop effect, this one, and then I dropped it onto the adjustment layer over here. So after dropping it to the adjustment layer over there, what I did next was to come to the adjustment layer. I right clicked on the adjustment layer. I clicked on the adjustment layer, then I went to the effects control, and after going to the effects control, what I did was to crop the adjustment layer. As you can see here, the top I cropped it to 8%, so that, and that's why this adjustment layer gave me those cinematic bars. After cropping it, I as well cropped the bottom to 8%. So what I did next to the adjustment layer is that I came to the volumetric color and then I applied in a LUT. One of my LUTs, it's an orange and tail LUT that I applied onto this adjustment layer to give it that cinematic color grade that you're seeing over there. Actually, I skipped these frames because I wanted it to be like, I didn't want my intro to be merged with the start of the entire video, the entire B-roll sequence, because I had to apply a dip to black effect. The opacity was dipping from black to 100%, from 0 to 100%. So as you can see, some of these keyframes over here, this is actually a nested sequence. I nested it because I wanted to stabilize it with wrap stabilizer, so I applied it onto this clip because it was unstable. I shot it without a gimbal. So these keyframes you're seeing over here, 1, 2 keyframes, they are for opacity. At this very first keyframe, the opacity is at 0, and then at this keyframe it's at 100. You can see it right from here, from the effects control. As you can see, at the beginning it's 0 opacity, and then when it reaches here it becomes 100. The opacity comes at 100. So what I did next, if we move on to this next clip over here, I will mute the audio track. This is a nested sequence also as well. I nested this one since I had to apply on a transition pack, the zoom in. As you can see, it zooms in, so I had to transition from this outside of the metro station to the entrance of this metro station. So that's why I nested this sequence as well. So this little sound track over here that you can see, this isolated soundtrack, it's a whoosh sound over here, this one. So what I did over here, remember I nested this clip over here and this very next clip over here. Actually these 3 clips, I nested them all so that I could stabilize them. As you can see, this one I nested it for the essence of stabilizing and for the essence of applying their speed ramps, because once you stabilize the shot without nesting it, you cannot apply a speed ramp. So I nested it and then applied speed ramps so that I could match the speed of its the former clip behind it and the next clip in front of it. So as you can see, the speed matched up. So what I did to this clip right over here is that I applied on a speed ramp. I wanted to match the speed of this nested clip behind it with it. So if you can see very well, right over here, the speed matched up. So this sound over here, again, it's a whoosh sound. As you can see, it looks slightly the same like this one. So what I did next was to come to this clip just right over here at the end as well. I applied a slight speed ramp of about 632. I speed ramped it up to 632 so that I could also match up the speed of this next clip. So most of the times when I am applying my speed ramps, I always want to catch up the speed of either the former clip or the next clip coming. So coming onto this clip, what I did was also to nest this clip. Since I never shot it with a gimbal as well, I never wanted to attract attention from the people who are passing by, so I shot it handheld as well, and then I applied on wrap stabilizer and speed ramp. So moving on to this graphic over here, this is my text. Old Dubai historical district. So this font is called Gloss and Bloom font. You can check it out and download it and install it into your PC for free. If you wanna check it out, you can check it out on Google. So what I did to this clip also as well was this right over here was that I increased the opacity. I set the opacity to 0 at the beginning, then to 100 in the middle, then again to 100 over here, and then to 0 once again at the end. So that's why it's having also that deep to black effect. As you can see, it's appearing from nowhere, then it appears, then it disappears from over there. So moving on to our next clip, this next clip over here, I nested it as well, and I applied onto it wrap stabilizer. It's the same thing with this very same clip over here. I nested it, applied on wrap stabilizer. Moving on to this very same clip over here, what I did to this clip just over here is that I increased the speed to 900 in the ramp. So let's see how it looked like. I hope you can see there in the middle what happened in the middle over there. When I applied the ramp, it ran very fast. So after applying on the ramp, I nested it again and then stabilized it with wrap stabilizer. However much it cropped in a little bit, the wrap stabilizer, but it wasn't much. It's better to have a slightly cropped in sequence than a sequence which is unstable. So coming on to this very next clip over here, what I did to this clip over here is that it was a straight clip. I changed the position and then the rotation. I rotated it. I also turned the rotation at the beginning to 20% and then at the end to 0%. So I also scaled it in a little bit to cover the crop. I also moved its position. So moving on to this next clip over here, what I did was that I never nested this clip because I shot this clip with the gimbal, so it was quite stable. I shot it from the opposite side of the light reflection. So what I did next is that this clip, actually it was these two clips, this one and this one, they were the same clips. So what I did was just simple. I split them into two, then I moved this one onto the video track 2, and then I started masking it out. So and then I applied another clip, this clip over here, this one over here. I applied it below this second clip over here. So after applying it below, what I did is that I masked out the opacity of this very first clip, this one you're seeing over here. I masked it out the opacity, and after masking it, what I did was to get this masking transition. As you can see, there are two different clips. So this first clip is this one, and then this second clip is this one over here that you're seeing. So for this very next clip, what I did was very simple. I changed the rotation to about 12%. Here I rotated it to 12%, and then I scaled it in to, of course, to hide those crops, because remember, when the video goes into rotation, it will be cropped out, so it will be having side black bars below and above. Here I rotated it, and then I scaled it in to cover the crop. So what I did next was at the beginning of this next clip, just right over here, what I did was very simple as well. I applied a speed ramp. The speed was set to 100 again in the middle, and then at the end of the clip here, as you can see again, I applied a speed ramp of about 635. So to match up this clip with the next clip over here, what I did again was to speed ramp up this clip so that I could match up the speed of the these two clips over here. What I did to this clip again was that I nested it and then applied onto it the wrap stabilizer. This very next clip over here, it was also unstable. I nested it and applied onto it the wrap stabilizer. So what's more important here between this clip and this next clip over here is that, see what I did over here again? I applied again a speed ramp so that I could match up the speed of the two clips. I matched up the speed and then applied onto the speed ramp. Remember, this clip was stabilized, so I had to nest it. That's why it's in green color. So what I did at the end of this clip, I applied onto it an effect that is called dip to black. You can search it from here, dip to black. So I skipped a few frames, like 5 frames. We come to this very next clip over here. So this clip over here has a zoom out transition, but actually it's not a zoom out transition. If you can look very well, what I did, I just came here to the effects I selected it, came to the effects control panel, then I scaled it in by 176, and then I scaled it out. I skipped like 2 frames, and then I scaled it out to 100. That's why it's having that zoom out effect, but it's actually not a zoom out transition effect, but it's just a scale in and scale out. So what I did again to this clip, after I scaled it in and out, I applied on the wrap stabilizer, because most of these shots that you're seeing over here, I never shot them with a gimbal. I shot them handheld rather. This shot over here, I shot it with a gimbal. That's why it's also quite stable, and it isn't scaled in by the wrap stabilizer. Except for this shot, I shot it with a gimbal, but still I had to apply the wrap stabilizer on, because I was working with the gimbal very fast. So at the end of this clip, if you look at it very well here, I applied also a speed ramp where this clip ends, so that I could match up the speed of the two clips. As you can see, the speed was matched up and the cut in between became less noticeable. So that was it all today, guys, about the epic breakdown of that fahidi cinematic video. So just go down below in the comments and let me know what you think about this epic breakdown, and let me know in case you wanna see more of such videos from me.